Sound off. Okay. Hi. Happy Black History Month. If you're black, if you've seen the TikTok, make some motherfucking noise. Bow, 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 bow. And if you aren't, welcome. You should still celebrate. Take this as an opportunity to learn. You know, there are a lot of great Black creatives and STEM people and scientists and trade workers. I could go on. But we're out here. We are thriving. So take the time to learn some more, support a small business if you can. Yeah. Okay, so intro aside, this is the first ever podcast episode. It's just me and Maroom. And that's the intro. But basically, I enjoy making content. It's a fun hobby for me. But sometimes it's tiring because there's a lot of other kind of like bullshit going on for me right now. I was like, this will be fun. I enjoy talking. I don't know if I have anything good to say. We're going to find out. I think that's for you to decide, actually. I don't know if you can hear that sound. So hold on. That was a tap. The pipes in the place I'm staying in are loud. What was I saying? Yes, I'm trying a podcast just to see how it goes because I enjoy talking and there it is again. I'm just going to keep talking. And you know what? If you can really hear it, well, I'll find out when I play it back. Bam. Okay, I'm going to stop doing that sound. This one. Okay, I'm done for y'all. Okay, yes. Black History Month. I am back during Black History Month. The stars have aligned for me. And you should subscribe because I have some other stuff going on and also reparations. So, yeah. And if you are Black, we have to support each other out here. Come on, man. Okay, I've been talking nonsense. We're 2 minutes in. Okay, at this point in time, I have like 5 subscribers. Okay. So I can't even be like, oh, where have I been? No one has been wondering. But I want to talk about it anyways because I just feel like a lot of people might actually be able to relate because I don't know about you guys, but the past 3 years, emotional turmoil for me, emotional, mental, physical turmoil. It's been a lot. And like, aside from the most obvious ones, like COVID, okay, I just mean like it was COVID and then other stuff that was causing the emotional turmoil for me. So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because I feel like it was a lot. And I feel like I'm still kind of processing it, but I just mainly kind of wanted to talk about growth and just to see if anyone else related. Does it suck? Because does growth suck? The answer is no. Obviously, the answer is no. But also, maybe sometimes yes. Because it's not easy. And okay, I'm just going to say what I have to say. And it might sound like delusional or kind of like, well, Hannah, how did you not know? Like, how did you not know that growth would be hard? Like, and maybe it was obvious to you. And if it was, congratulations. And I mean that genuinely because I feel like it probably saved you some heartbreak. But I'm just going to put my microphone down. Hold on. Enjoy that shuffling sound. But I just thought, when I went on this journey, and let's start from the beginning. So for me, it's March 2020. I don't know. Whatever March year that we went into lockdown for the first time and everyone thought it was just jokes and nobody knew that it was going to end up lasting 2 years, right? Because I was at school and they say bring all your stuff home for March break because you might not be coming back. I was said, LOL, see you guys in a week. And then I didn't see them ever again because I graduated online. And I ended up back at my parents, my mom's, and that was just like surreal because I'm someone who I worked very hard to get out of that house. So to end up back in that house, I was just in shock. It was a lot. But at least just for me, that was kind of like I guess like a make or break moment because I was like, I have a lot of things going on with me and I needed help with it. I've kind of known for a minute that I have things that I needed to address. But I was like, I can just tough this out. I can do this on my own. I will just Google, self-help books, gratitude journals, and it's fine. But then COVID hit and it was not fine because like many other people, I just found myself in situations that were just not ideal. Um, so that's when I was like, okay, you know what, girl, you have the time. So I started going to therapy, because for me, listen, I needed professional help out here, okay? Because this were some serious issues, serious, okay, of the childhood and trauma variety. So I was not equipped to handle these things because the things that I was struggling with because they weren't modeled for me. I didn't know I knew that how I was going about my life was not good for me and it wasn't how I wanted to, but that's it. That's all I knew. I didn't know how to get myself from point A to point B being the life that I actually wanted, the type of person that I actually wanted to be. Um, so I went and I got help. I found a therapist. Psychology Today .ca for my Canadian girls. I think there's a .com for America. And you can just type in your postal code. It has a bunch of different therapists. You can search by like filters, in terms of like what they specialize by, gender, all that good stuff. And honestly, it took me like 2 tries to find a good therapist that I actually liked. So I will say that is therapy for everybody? I don't know. I don't know. But if you are willing to try it, I will say like sometimes it might take like the first therapist you have might not be the best one for you because that was my case. I ended up seeing like 2 or 3 people and then I found the girl that I'm seeing now and I've been seeing her for a year. Yeah. Um but yes, so the point is I went into therapy just being like I just need help. I just need help. And then I actually had to start, doing the work and just just doing the work. And at the end of the day, I don't want to say that I thought it was going to be easy, but I just didn't think it was going to be this hard. And this is what I mean when I say those growth steps. No, but this process is not as cute as I thought it was going to be. It really isn't. Like I I feel like the past 3 years I have experienced some top 10 stress moments of my life. And at the same time, I would also say this is probably the best I have ever been mental health wise in my life. And that this is honestly, I'm very proud of myself for the past 3 years for the amount of growth that I've had. But at the same time, like I said, it's going hand in hand with also what might be some of the worst moments of my life. And that's what I mean when I say I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to come out better at the end of this process. But I just didn't know that sometimes getting better also meant that it's just gonna be like a shit show. Just you're like, honestly. So that's what I mean when I say like I just wasn't expecting it, because I just never heard anybody talk about it. And not to say that there are people, I don't know. Are there? Where were they? Because I didn't hear I didn't hear them. Um so that's also why I am talking about it as well, because I also did feel moments where I felt discouraged, because I was like, why am I in therapy? Why am I going through all this stuff if I'm out here like crying at 3 a.m.? What's going on? It felt like I was going backwards, but when I would calm down and really take a look at myself, I would be like, well, no, actually, this is probably the healthiest mindset you've ever had in your life. So that's just what I mean when it was just an odd experience, because like for me, I'm not a very emotional person, and I don't really know if that's hard to tell or not. I think people who know me in my everyday life would be like a little bit surprised that I would say that, but it is true. Okay. Um, Happiness, cheeriness, I can bust that shit out of nowhere. The things like sadness, barf, not for me. So even though I was out here crying at 3 a.m., and I have videos, those are never going to see the light of day, but I haven't even looked at them myself also. But I would just have like these like crying, like breakdown moments. And I would just be like, man, what the, like, is this what being better or feeling better looks like? Because I don't like this. Because I felt very like, obviously not good because I'm crying. um, but then after that, I would look back and be like, well, no, because you're actually allowing yourself to feel your feelings. You're allowing yourself to cry and process whatever you need to process and feel whatever you need to feel and learn how to sit with all that. So that's what I mean when I say like I would have these moments where I would be like, God, I I'm just F everything. Everything sucks, you know, just F this, F that, I'm pissed. But then I would look back on it and it'd be like, but you expressed yourself. So proud of you. Oh my God. So don't be discouraged if you do feel like you're having those moments where maybe you feel like a little bit crazier um, than you normally feel, or you just feel more like out of control than you normally feel. At the end of the day, like, you know, aside from the fact that you're allowing yourself to feel those things, depending on the person, because for some people that's not an issue. For me, that is something that I had to work on, like learning how to feel my shit, but also like how I dealt with it in that moment. Because even though I was feeling my feelings, I was still saying to myself, like, okay, if you gotta cry, girl, then just cry, just like, just, you know, just have your moment, just cry. And then, wipe your tears and finish the rest of your day. Find something to enjoy in the rest of your day. Or I would take the time to actually journal about it. Or just say to myself, like, okay, you had this crying moment, but like, how do you feel about it now? Do you still feel upset about whatever you were crying about? Do you feel the issue has been resolved because you've had this cry? Or is it a situation where it's like, either if it was a situation involving someone else, do I need to go and speak with them? Or was this just like, okay, I've let it out, it's been released, it's done, right? So even though I was having those moments where I was just like feeling it, I wasn't just leaving it at that as well, because I don't know, I feel like it's sometimes it's not as just like surface level as like, oh, you just need to like cry it out, right? And I feel like for me, not only would I not even allow myself to feel anything, I'm not even taking the time to ask myself, like, is there something deeper going on here? Is this an issue that is fully resolved, or is this something that's going to be like going to keep coming up for you again? Um, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm trying to remember my own intro because at this point we're at the 15-minute mark and I have a bad habit of just like jumping right into shit and forgetting. So if you feel it has been a rushed start, I'm sorry. My bad. Um, yeah. So, man, if you feel crazy, you're not alone. And sometimes that is okay, right? Because even though I had those moments where I was feeling out of control, I would still have that moment, feel that moment. But then after the fact, I'm still going to check in with myself and say to myself, like, okay, was it just a cry it and leave it moment? Or is there more that you can do to make yourself feel better and feel that whatever this is that has made you upset to the point where you do need to cry about it is resolved? So that's healthy girl shit for me. And yeah, so yeah. And I will also just say, like, once you know that something isn't good for you, you can't not know it. You know, because before I didn't know that you could, I don't know like a good word for it, but like, I didn't know that you could live your life like that. I didn't know that there was all these other ways to process your emotion or like the window of tolerance, PTSD even. I'm trying to think of shit I learned. That's all I got. I know I learned more, I swear. Like the hierarchy of needs. Like, yes, I knew about it, but knowing how they actually, like, how they're actually relevant to me. I will say that. Because, yeah, sure, I need food and shelter and security, whatever, all those others. Okay, but that was just like a base level. So being in therapy, I actually learned, like, okay, how these are actually affecting me. Um, just things like that. But the thing is, now that I know these coping skills, I know these grounding techniques, I know um, that I need to feel my feelings, and that it's better for me, and that I learned how to do it. I can't not do it. You know what I'm saying? And like, oh, my messy closet door is open. I'm also taking a video as well. So not that you have to even like, well, it's a podcast, right? But for those who did want to, I did just record me talking, and I just realized that my closet is open and it's messy. Okay, I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna get up and close it because I don't want to fuck up my setup. Uh, don't just pretend. Okay, okay, back on track. Back on track. Sorry. And so once I noticed it, it has thrown me off because that's all I can notice. But I'm not. I don't care enough to actually get up and close my closet door, so I've just moved my big head, so it's blocking it. What's I saying? Um, Once you know things, you can't unknow them. You can't. So it's like even even if I wanted to like do certain things or like have certain mindsets, again, there's always going to be a part of me that's like, yeah, but is it good for you? And like, are you going to feel better if you do this? Why don't you try doing this breathing exercise? You know, just like shit like that. I'm just like, ow. Like, I used to actually be a very negative person, and sometimes I still can be, but I'm working on it. I try very hard to not, because it's not good for me. You know, not that everything needs to be like all sunshine and rainbows. So I don't mean in the sense that it's like I don't acknowledge when things are like shitty, but for me, it's like I would acknowledge in it. What am I saying? I would acknowledge it. Oh, I don't want to go to work today. I had a bad day at work. This person got on my nerves. This didn't go the way I planned, or I'm stressed right now. Um, and it would just wouldn't end there. It would just get to the point where everything was a problem. I was miserable all the time. I would just spiral. You know, I find one thing that's wrong and it's just like down a rabbit hole. So I'm just kind of looking at everything, just being like, well, fuck everything. What's the point of anything? And I wasn't at my best. And for anybody who hears that, and if you are like that, this is not an attack on you. This is just me saying that when I was like that, I didn't feel good because it's not best for me. It's not best for me to have that mindset. So I learned that when I went to therapy, and we talked about it. I worked through it. I addressed the fact that like I tend to spiral because at the end of the day, a lot of stuff did continually go wrong for me as a child. So I learned that like, okay, if one thing goes wrong, then another thing's going to go wrong because that's how it went. Right. So it was partially in learning that that's not always the truth. And even if it is, there are still things that I can control, like my attitude. Um, and like, even as I say it, I'm kind of like side eye because it is a little bit annoying. You know what? I don't know if anyone else is going to agree with me, but it's just like, now that I know this, anytime I try to go and be overly negative, I'm talking about a negative spiral to the point where it's not healthy for me. And I'm just like, and you know, this isn't good for you. We know what can you do to turn this around. Yeah, you had a shit day. Acknowledge that. But there's not one thing you can do to make yourself feel a little bit better. Not one song you could play. Can you get yourself a nice snack? Like, come on, are you sure? It, you're just gonna wallow in it? And the part of me is like, yes, bitch. Yes, I am. Because sometimes being healthy is a lot of fucking work. And maybe I do just want to be negative. Like maybe I do just want to sit here and just wallow, right? And the thing is, sometimes yes, it is okay to just say fuck it, fuck everything, and move on. But the thing is with me is that I don't move on. And it's never just one day. That's why it's like for me personally, I can't allow myself to just be like, yeah, you know what, girl, F it. You know, you can't always be healthy all the time because that, I'm not saying that because it's true. I'm saying that, and I don't even think it's me saying that. That's like my sabotage voice. And I think that's another thing I want to point out as well is that, like, a lot of times when I have feelings where it's like, I know what the healthier thing for me to do is, and I know what the more helpful thing for me to do for myself is, there's always a little voice in my head that's just like, do you have to? But should you? Do you want to? And I can't trust that voice because that is not a voice. I don't even think that's my own voice, to be honest. But that is a sabotager's voice. That is a voice who, once I get into that negative spiral and I start feeling really shitty about myself and my life, that is the same voice that's going to turn around and look me in my eye and be like, wow, well, shouldn't you be ashamed? Look at you. Yeah, you feel like shit. Why do you think that is? You did it again. You sabotaged yourself. And now here you are. You never learned. Just give up already. So that's what I mean when I say that's a sabotager's voice. Because I don't know, there is a little, I don't want to say it is a part of me because it didn't come from me. But unfortunately, you hear things too much as a kid and you absorb it. So even though I'm able to make that distinction from that voice and my true self, my true voice, it's still there. I don't know if it's ever going to go away, you know. I've only been in therapy for a year, 365 days, you know. That's not enough. It's not enough time. I've been putting enough hours, guys. But I'll follow up. I'll follow up. If that the day that bitch disappears, you will all be the first to know. Um, but the point is, it is there, and I don't know if it's ever gonna go away or if it is just one of those things that is just like it's just a part of me, you know. Because I think certain things, I don't know if they ever truly leave you. But we'll circle back to that because that's a whole other thing. Um, but the point is, there's this voice, and it sounds like me, but it's not me, and it's saying to me like, "Girl, do you really need to put in all this effort? Do you really want to put in all this effort? you know, and it starts trying to like entice me and being like, yeah, but it's a lot of work. And just all those little things. So that's what I mean when I say like it is a lot of effort to make the choices that I know are best for myself, because there's like a part of me that is just like fighting it and it's like, I'm gonna make you second guess this. I'm gonna make you feel like, why put in the energy? Why do this? Even though I know the answer, I know I should, but it doesn't always work. So that's what I mean when I say like, once you know, you can't not know, but it doesn't make it any easier, because although I know the choices that I should be making and I know how they're going to affect me at this point because I've learned and I know the techniques to cope with them and all that other bullshit, but then it's like I still have to do it. I still have to make that choice, and it's not always an easy choice to make. So yeah, it can be tiring sometimes. So once again, I say, this girl sucks. Does it? Sometimes. I think sometimes, yes. Um, do I regret it? No. I don't regret at all, even though I have my moments where I'm just like, man, I don't regret making the decision to go to therapy and just really open up those can of worms. And I will say, like, even though I did go, like, I had to make the choice to say, like, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go to therapy and I'm gonna open up to her. I'm gonna tell her about the things that I experienced, the things that I'm worried about, the habits that I have that I don't like, my depression, anxieties that I have, all of it. So even though I did make the choice to go to therapy, I also still had to make the choice to participate. So when she would tell me, method, she's good, okay, because sometimes she annoys me, and I only say that because like she will ask me questions, and I'm just like, now I actually have to think about it. Right now, I actually have to do the fucking work, and I'm just like, yes, I'm paying you, and yes, I said I was going to, but now I actually have to. And I don't know, it just hits different when it actually comes time to do these things. I'm gonna do it. I might frown about it. I might complain about it. But at the end of the day, I am going to do it. I am gonna think about whatever question she gave me that's making me rethink my whole fucking life. I am gonna choose to fucking do my gratitude journal because that's what I need to not be a negative, like Grinch all the time. So I don't know if I'm ever not gonna feel like, damn, like this girl sucks, damn, like do I really have to do this shit? I don't know. But at the end of the day, even though I still feel like that, even though I still have that voice that's just like trying to sabotage my shit, I still do it. I still make the choice to do these things. And I might be frowning when I'm, which is kind of ironic because this is supposed to be good for you, but I just like fucking, I don't even know, like throwing my tea bag in a cup because I need my quiet 5 minutes with a good song of my choice and a hot cup of tea, because that's how I choose to recharge at the end of my day. Okay, like just shit like that. So yeah, I'm gonna do it, but maybe I'll be extra aggressive when I'm clicking on the fucking YouTube app to open myself up because I actually just want to go to bed. But yeah, so I will say that. Um, so that's yeah, that's another thing. Like, if you do feel like you don't want to do it, and maybe you might be talking shit while you do it, but at least you're still doing it, and I think that's what really matters, because that's been my strategy these past 3 years, and as I've said, truly the healthiest I've been. I think I can be healthier. I know that I can, because I still have a lot of things to work through. But still, better is still better. Healthier is still healthier. Yeah. Um. So another thing, I kind of mentioned a little bit before, but just like Do certain things leave? I don't know. Kind of what I was saying about that voice, or just like certain habits that I have, or certain thought process that I have. I don't know if they're ever going to go away. Um, and I don't mean that in a discouraging way. So I'm trying to think of like a good example. Um, what's. I feel like I'll just use the negativity one again. Um, so something will happen, and it's not an ideal situation. I'm just like, man, fuck. I don't know if I'm ever gonna not be able to have that like fuck everything, my life is over moment every time something goes the way that I don't want it to go. I don't know if that's ever gonna go away. Because for me, like I said, I feel like that because it's like growing up, one thing went wrong, it was a snowball effect. Because there were adults around, but they weren't really around. They weren't adulting properly. Um, so when shit started getting out of whack, there was no one there to step up and pull the shit together. So I did the best that I could, but I was a kid. So it only went so far. So every time something goes wrong, it's like, oh shit, okay. You know this, you've seen this, you've trained for this. And at the end of the day, what do they say? 1 to 7, the most formative years of your life. That's it. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's your core. So I don't know if I'm ever not going to have that be my automatic first thought. And the thing is, like, I understand now why I have that moment of like, oh, freak. You know, I just thought it was anxiety. And it is anxiety, but it didn't come from nowhere. It came from years of unfortunate patterns of events in my life as a kid. So, one, I think like just learning where that even came from was very helpful to me. And the other half of it is that I don't know if it's ever going to go away, but at the end of the day, I know how to deal with it. So I'll have that moment. I have those like everything's going to blow up and explode moment as soon as like things start to go wrong. But now I can pull myself back from that. And I can say, okay, we're going to say the F word 3 times. We're going to walk away for 5 minutes. And then we're going to come back and we're going to say, okay, what are my options? Is this really that bad? Can I work with it regardless? Do I just need to sit with the fact that, yes, this sucks, but it's not the end of the world and keep it pushing? You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. Like, I don't know if certain habits or certain mindsets are ever fully going to go away because of how young that I learned them and because I had them for so long, you know? Um, a year is not that long. I'm 22? 22. Yes, I am. Um, so 1 year's good. That's 1 year stacked up against all these other fucking years. So that's what I mean when I say I don't know, because I feel like I'm still fresh. I'm still early in this journey. So who knows? Maybe a couple of years I won't even have those like, oh, that automatic negative downward spiral. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't stay in it. It is at this point a very brief moment. And even when it is maybe, because honestly, you know what? Sometimes I am not always able to kind of get myself out in that moment. Sometimes it is like the next day, or I need to go home and wait just till till I'm in my room, when I can just really, because I like my room. It's my spot. I'm decorated and shit. Um, so I can be like, okay, let's process this shit. Um, that's another thing I wanted to say. I don't know what anybody's expectations are when they go into therapy, but I definitely did kind of think that I was like, I'm gonna cure myself. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna come out fresh, brand new, cured, clear. Okay. So at the end of the day, I did kind of have, I'm like saying it slowly because it does kind of sound delusional saying it now. But I just thought I would go in there, work through this shit, and just done. just done. Those negative thoughts, I never had those. I'm brand new, fresh. I don't do that anymore. The fact that I still have them, I'm just like, oh, you're still here. But like I said, I know how to deal with it. So it's not even that big of a deal. So it's like, even though it didn't go how I expected it, I still don't regret it. I don't feel like I failed my mission. um, yeah. So I'm curious. I don't know if anyone has experience kind of with that, like, kind of doomsday spiral. The second things start looking not peachy. And if you have, do you feel like it goes away? Does it stay with you? Does it even matter if you know how to deal with it, how to handle it? And that's just like the best example I could think of. Unfortunately, I have a lot of other thoughts and, like, I guess, no, thought patterns that are still here. I know how to deal with them, yes. But when I went to therapy, I thought I would be eradicating them. That's what I thought. And it turns out therapy is a lot more like education and management. And that's good, obviously, because that still helped me learn like a better quality of life and just to understand, because I can't even put into words how much of a difference it made just to understand why I was the way that I was and why I might have felt these things or why I picked up these habits, right? So for me, that was also very, very helpful. And then, like I said, I went in there because I had a lot of habits that I didn't like, and I wasn't having a life that I liked. Um, so I learned. I'm learning how to have that life through like managing my shit and learning new habits and learning to let go of certain things, right? So that education and that management, it's a dream team combination, but it's not doing what I thought it was gonna do, which is like I said, completely eradicate these bad habits that I went in there with. And when I say bad, I also just mean not best for me. That's another thing I learned. Not bad, but is there better? So that's maybe motto. Um, yeah. So that's what I mean when I say, like, maybe is it a delusional thought? I don't know, but like I said, I thought I was gonna go in there and just be like tabula rasa, baby, blank slate, just wipe that bitch clean and start from fresh, from scratch. So it's crazy. Um, we're like 38 minutes. I don't even know if I have anything else to say, to be honest. I just wanted to come in here and talk about, the fact that I have been kind of, honestly, it's been a year. I think more. Um, and I genuinely enjoy YouTube. Other people were baking bread, and I started making content. I started as a way because, like, I went to school for fashion design. It was during, why am I blanking? COVID. There we go. I was like, what is it? Um, it was during that time that I realized that I wanted to go specifically for costume design, which is an ironic thing because anyone who knows me knows that I freaking love the movies and theater as well. Strappers, what's up? What's up? Um, and I love fashion. So why it never occurred to me that there is a whole department in both in both film and theater that involve clothes? I don't know, but it didn't until it did. Uh, so I was like, okay, everybody's locked up, jail. We're not going anywhere. Everything's frozen. I just graduated. What am I gonna do? I don't want to show up to these people after how many years and be like, hey, can I have a job? With nothing to show for it. And I understand that we were locked at home, but let me tell you something. Employers don't give a fuck. They don't care. They don't care. And I know that because I still struggle to find a freaking job, even with a decent portfolio. Um, so it is, and I still don't have, okay, I don't have one in costume design, but I have another job. I have two jobs. Even regular jobs, I struggle to get a regular job. So, realistic fears for me. That's what they were. But I was like, yeah, I don't want to I didn't know it was going to be 2 years at the time. But I was like, I don't want to just show up with nothing to show for it. And also I was so bored. I was so bored. I moved back home. I was living in my sister's room because my mom turned my room into a freaking lounge at this point. And I had no job because I moved cities to go to school. So I would just sit in my sister's room and wait for her to come back from work so we could hang out. Because that's that. That's all I had. Yeah. Um, so that's when I was like, you know what, maybe I should. Because at that point, both of my sisters had already started YouTube. And I was like, well, time to follow in my sissy's footsteps. And off I went. And that's when I realized, like, I genuinely enjoy creating content. It's like sewing. I make a design, I love it. I make my pattern, and I start sewing. I get stressed because sometimes I get bored when I start sewing because it's just pieces, you know. But once it hits that moment where it starts looking like an actual garment, it's exciting. And it's the same thing with videos. I start editing and I have that moment where I'm just like, ugh, these are just clips. It means nothing. And then it starts to come together and then I'm excited and I have the finished project at the end. And I love it. I do. I can never watch my videos back too soon after I edit them. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm not going to listen to this podcast after. I'm recording this and it's going up. It's going up because I just, editing is boring. It's boring. It's hard. I know what I said because I just said it. So I need like a buffer time in between like when I create the video and upload it to when I actually like watch it back. But regardless, when it is up, I love it. I feel accomplished. When I do get to watch it back, I love it. I feel accomplished because I had a concept and I brought it to life. I love creating. I love design in all its forms. And at the end of the day, I feel YouTube for me, it's under that umbrella, right? So that's why I still just kind of kept trying to make it a priority to keep coming back to YouTube, to keep trying to create videos, even though it didn't really work. Because like I said, there was a lot going on for me that was preventing me from committing to this the way that I wanted to. And that's the thing. Like, I didn't have to, but I want to. I want to be posting. I'm going to be posting 3 times a month from now on. I need that like 1 week in the month buffer because, like I said, my girl, my girl, I'm the girl. I have 2 jobs I'm working right now. I love them both, but they do take up a lot of my time. There's those pipes again. They take up a lot of my time, and also like I feel like the videos that I try to put out versus my skill in when it comes to, you know, video editing and putting videos together are matching. So the actual creating of the garments or the drawings or whatever it is I'm doing that's related to fashion, that's fine. But putting it together in a format that I want it to be in, that's when it starts to get hard. So my videos take me a lot of time. That's what I'm trying to say. And effort. So just like I'm trying not to overwhelm myself, but I just want to create them anyways. So that's why I'm just going to do 3 times a week because I feel that's more manageable for me. One of the videos is going to be a podcast. So 1 podcast and technically 2 videos for the month. The podcast is going to be, technically I'm posting this the second, is this the second week of February? I don't know. But starting now, I am going to be posting the first week of every month. That's going to be the podcast. So technically it's going to be the last week of every month that I do not post. Yeah. So that's the thing. Yeah. The podcast, she's here to stay. First video of the month. And then the other 2 are just going to be whatever I feel like. I've taken the time to really like think of concepts and formats for them because that's another thing as well. I was just freeballing every fucking video and it was a lot of work to kind of like come up with the concept from scratch. And then also, like I said, how do I get it into the format that I want the video to be in? So I took the time to kind of make a blank template in terms of like, okay, this is what my intro is going to be. If it's a drawing video, then I'm going to show this part, explain this part, record this part every time, right? So now I don't have to think about it as much. I just have to think of whatever new idea I have and just plug it into that format. So that's another thing I will say. I think I'm hoping that this will help my videos be a bit more like put together and also be a little bit easier for me to create them because now I know what they are. Yeah. Don't at me. I know it is Black History Month. But I am mine. So therefore, anything I do is automatically content for Black History Month. Okay? So if you don't see any videos this February that are marketed for Black History Month, don't worry about it. Because I didn't prepare. I was actually supposed to be putting these out in January. But here we are. So I'll tell you right now, I don't have the time. I don't have the mental capacity. I don't. I did think about it. I did think to myself, you know what, Hannah, maybe you should like make something that's specifically for. I got nothing. Maybe I will. I don't know. We're only on the second week, so I still have time. But zero promises, and I just felt the need to come out and defend myself ahead of time. So lower your expectations and just remember that I am a Black creator. So everything I do is Black history. Okay? And that's all I wanted to say about that. So I'm just gonna end it here. I'll see you guys next week. My next video, maybe I should talk about actually no, I'm not. You're gonna see it when you see it. And I need you to understand the fact that this video was supposed to go up in January and it's now the second week of February, not even the first week of February. Like I said, these shits were gonna come out. If that doesn't tell you a little bit about who I am, then I think the topic of next week's video is really going to. Time is a construct, and I need you to just not worry about it anymore, baby girl. Because it's going to stress you out. It's going to stress me out. And we don't want to be stressed out here. Okay? Not that it's bad, but is there better? Okay? Okay, so thank you for coming into my room. Thank you for hanging out in my room. Tell me what you think. Do you like this format? I was just pulling shit off the top of my head. This is just stuff that I felt like I've thought about a lot these past 3 years, especially because, like I said, I had a lot of growth because that was my intention, because I set out to address the things that were not good for me. And that came with a lot of extra shit that I was just not expecting. But still, I faced it, and I feel better for it in the end. So do you feel you felt anything similar? Do you like the podcast? Do you mind that it's not really about fashion? I'm just kind of, it's more relaxed. We're just chilling in my room, right? So yeah, bye. Get out of my room. The podcast is over. It's weird now. See you next Friday.